And action. Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be here today
Me
with
too.
Miss Hannah Cruz.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for coming out. It is a
Thanks.
blistering cold winter day.
Not used to it. I live in Texas for a reason. This cold is not what I signed up for. But
And
it's fine. We'll get over it.
It doesn't know what it's doing either.
It doesn't.
Like it's
Very
so crazy.
bipolar. Today it's polar. Cold.
But you know
Extremely
what?
cold.
I'm proud of us.
Yeah.
I'm proud of us.
I know.
Because we're here today
Here we are.
with our full-on makeup.
Yes. Feels great.
A lash may be
Don't
going
you
a
feel,
little.
though, don't you feel when you put your makeup on, you can just accomplish so much throughout the day?
You're ready
Like
for it.
that's you're ready to get stuff done.
This is the
That's
truth.
how I feel today.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. And I'm
you.
really proud to have Hannah. She is a social media influencer, and she always brightens up my day. I've got to say, like, as I'm scrolling through Instagram, and it's just like, you know, fires and like snowstorms and the world is crashing and ending. And then I see Hannah's beautiful little face and she's just so fun and goofy, and like you bring so much joy.
Thank you.
And just a lightheartedness to, you know, what you do. So
Thank you.
thank you for that. So
appreciate
social media
that.
influencer, you're a real estate investor with your husband, Blaine. You do retail, you do all kinds of fun, creative ways to sell products. You're also a former news reporter.
Yes.
So there's just like multiple hats, and it's just like the truth about women that we can do it all.
They can do so much. So much.
So what like really, I guess where we'll start today is, you know, what was it that made you want to step out and do something different? Because like you've definitely stepped out of the crowd. We see you, girl, right?
Thank
like
you.
you've stepped out, like you're doing things differently. What's really been the inspiration behind that?
You know, I go back to when I was growing up. One of the things that my mom would always say before I would get out of the car, before going to school, before going to do any sort of internship, or before going to an extracurricular activity, she would always say, Hannah, whatever you're doing and wherever you're going, you're there to make a difference. And it really stuck in my head for a really, really long time. And so I would apply that with whatever I was doing. So if I'm going to go to school and if I see that somebody's having a bad day, how can I make a difference in that way? If I'm going to go to an extracurricular activity, something that I'm enjoying, that I have a passion for, how can I be the very best at that particular activity, as well as making a difference in the people that I'm around at the moment? So I think that really instilled that desire to want to make a difference, because, you know, we're only here for such a short amount of time. And so, you know, whenever you think about that, your life has so much value. And so whenever you put all of that into perspective, I think that's kind of what made me who I was. Of course, moms tend to do that, I guess. So precious.
You know, and I think just also the way that you do it, it's just, it's so lighthearted. Like, where do you get the inspiration to do all that? Because I'm like, you know, you think about, like, I was talking to Mariah this morning, you know, Phil decided to throw up in my bed like last night. It was my cat that decided to throw up in my bed. So, you know, like you have like real life happening, you know, like dogs and then kids and all the dang lunches that we have to make in the mornings, and then, you know, work and kids and just like life is happening.
Yeah.
Where do you get the inspiration? Like, where do you draw? Like, is it just a part of your brain? Like, are you already just built creatively? Like, where do you get your inspiration from?
Well, I feel like a lot of it does stem from just the things that I really liked as a little kid. So as a little kid, I loved to sing. I loved to act. I loved to perform, just do things like that. So it was always part of who I was. And of course, I would see my mom do pretty much the same thing. So she was always a very good role model for me. So my mom sang, and my mom did plays, and she was always out there. So that really, I think, just kind of sparked something in me. But, you know, as you grow older and like you get married and you start working, you have kids, it's almost like a lot of that creativity gets sucked out of you. And so there has been many days and many times where I would wake up in the morning and I'm like, I'm not feeling fulfilled today. I'm not feeling like I am pursuing the things that I know God wants me to pursue.
Yeah.
And so that's whenever I have to sit back, reevaluate, and think, okay, what can I do differently in order to pursue the things that I'm passionate about, but then also how can I make a difference by doing the things that I'm passionate about? So
Yeah.
I will sit there and I will read the word in the morning, and then I'll say, Lord, I want you to implant something creative, something different, something new into my brain to where I know this is not from me. It's completely from you. And I swear every single time he pulls through.
Girl,
I'll
you're
even
pushing
lay
out
down
fresh stuff.
Oh gosh.
It's fresh.
Well, thank you.
Every day.
I'm telling you that's the kind of God that we serve, girl. And so every night, even I'll even say, I want you to like give me like this cool dream of something that I cannot make up myself. I'll even dream something funky and just apply it to whatever I'm doing. So
Yeah.
I mean, but it's very easy for moms and wives and businesswomen to get burnt out very quickly and
so
to get
easy.
drained very
Right.
quickly. I know you've probably felt the same way.
Oh, girl.
Right?
Right. No, this is
You wear a lot of hats too.
We do, yeah. And I think what's super trendy to say is choose joy, choose joy.
Yeah,
I want to choose joy,
not that
and I want to wear the
simple.
necklace, and I want to,
Yeah.
wear the headband, and I want to wear the shirt. But what does it actually look like to choose joy every day? And you just lined it out. It's okay. Well, I'm gonna like grab inspiration from a different source,
Yes.
whether it's in prayer and I'm seeking God, whether it's mentorship from
Yes.
people in books. Like I'm going to go ahead and get out of myself because
Yeah.
the truth is that we as women, yes, we are capable of so much
Yep.
and we think that we can do it all. But the thing is that like at the end of the day, like we don't have to do it all. We don't have to
Yeah.
reinvent the wheel.
Exactly.
There are sources that we can tap in that will refresh us.
Yes.
There's people
People.
that refresh
Yes.
us.
Well, absolutely. And that's what I was going to say is also putting yourself in situations, especially as women, we get so tied up in our own little world. But if you put yourself in situations where you are gleaning from people who are smarter than you, more successful than you, more talented than you, all the things more than you,
Yeah.
and you don't put yourself in situations like that so you can feel like you're not enough. You put yourself in situations like that so that you can grow and so that you can take just take little gold nuggets from each situation, each person.
I
And
love
that is
that.
how all of that just kind of blossoms in your own life, which is great.
I've seen that. I can't even tell you how true that is for
Yes.
me. For those of us who are listening today that may not be, as colorful or creative or love to
Yes.
dance and sing and do all of those things as a
Exactly.
little girl, like what can you offer our listeners as ways to start to put themselves in those situations where they're able
Yes.
to glean and grow and get outside of themselves?
Yes.
Because that's what it's going to take.
Yes. Well, I feel like the first step, because a lot of the culture right now is talking about how women feel like they're not enough. And I know that it comes from the comparison trap that social media might bring. I know that it comes from just the things that we see on TV and magazines. And so lots of times I feel like confidence is an issue that is talked about all the time for women and for, really basically anybody, but it's easy to fall into that trap. And so getting in a mindset where that no longer becomes a trap can seem impossible sometimes if that's something you really struggle with. But in order to get past that, I've learned personally that I have to dive deeply into the word. I have to dive deeply into allowing myself to say, you know what? I'm great at these things. I know that these things are things that I'm supposed to be doing, but it's okay for me to learn from somebody that might be better than me. It's okay to be around people that might be better than me. And so really taking that on and realizing who you are and whose you are is super, super important. So that I feel like is the first step. And from there, that's where everything else, the dominoes start falling and everything else starts falling into place after that.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, a lot of the people that listen to us, us as women, we do a lot, and there's different seasons of our lives where, we go through tough times. And I know that for sure you've posted a video and you're happy and you're silly and you're funny and you're laughing, and maybe on the same day you maybe felt a very different extreme and
gosh.
other things are happening.
Yes,
Like, you're married, like no marriage is perfect.
Right.
You've got two beautiful children.
Thank you. Love them.
And so, take us through that, like it doesn't always look fun.
Gosh, no.
How do you deal with those tough moments in life?
Well, and I think that, just like anybody, been through heartache and pain and stress and just things that feel so completely overwhelming. But at the end of the day, and I think that people might have a hard time, because obviously social media is one of the main things that I do. And I think people have a hard time saying, look, there's no way that your life can look like this all the time, because it's a highlight reel every now and then whenever you see anybody's social media.
And it's fun though too, because like you can, I look at your comments, and it's really fun, like being able to see people engaging with you, and they're laughing, and it's clear that you're bringing in a really needed lightness to the day.
Right. But it doesn't mean that that's how it always is with people. It doesn't mean that's how it is behind closed doors. It doesn't mean that. There's so much more to life. And I feel like every now and then I will talk about that just to be, real and authentic. But at the end of the day, I think really with what I do, and what any woman has to do, is no matter what's going on, you cannot lie down. You cannot give up. You cannot allow yourself to fall into this space mentally, spiritually, physically, where you just completely let yourself go. Because that to me, and then I'll just hear my mom in the back of my mind, like, you're here to make a difference. You're here to make a difference. You're here to make a difference. And so if I'm allowing my mental state to get there, then what am I doing? I'm only hurting myself. I'm only hurting my children. I'm only hurting my husband when I lash out, when I get upset, when I lash out at my kids, when I get upset. So it's a choice. It's a choice. It's so much more than just, this hoo-la-la, choose joy thing. You have to choose to also get out of bed every morning. And that can be very, very, very difficult. But
especially in the season where, like the whole COVID thing is ramping up again. There's so many unknowns. There's a lot of fear out there. And it was tough on women. The reality is I'm doing this because I want to stand with women. We, as women in this nation, took a big hit economically. Like any economic advancement that we had, most of the time, women had to go home, work from home. If you could go and work from home, because you weren't a frontliner. The majority of the frontliners are female, right? The nurses and all of the service workers, like those are normally female positions, right? And so if you could work from home, then at that point, you had kids in the background, and you got your Zoom call, and you've got all this like drama happening at the same time. And at the same time, like dinner is burning, and you've got, the dogs are barking, and you're still there, and you're zoning in, and you're closing deals, and you're making things happen, and you're moving forward, and you're trying to execute your plan. And all of that is happening at the same time. And so we're standing here with women to say, okay, we can do it all. But if we decide to learn from each other, that's the fastest way to learn, right? Learn and grow, mentorship from others. And I love what you said, you kept going back to what your mom's words were.
Make a difference.
Like, you're here to make a difference because your life matters. Like it doesn't matter where you came from, how you started, where you're at today.
We're literally here for three things. We're here to love God. We're here to love people. And we're here to change the world.
Change the world,
So
girl.
you have got to look inward, and you've got to say, okay, what are the things that I absolutely love? What are the things that I loved when I was a little girl? What are the things that I know I'm good at, but I haven't tapped into yet? And at the end of the day, I think one of the saddest things is to look back on your life and to say, I didn't do what I wanted to do, and now I regret it. And this is a perfect opportunity. I feel like right now is the most perfect opportunity with all that's going on in the world to say,
it's that all up in the air, folks. Right? Like we can't even plan a cruise.
I know.
I can't even see my grandparents.
I love cruises.
I know. Like it's all up in the air. You might as well.
I know.
Go reach for the dang stars, right? Like it's discombobulated everywhere. Like life is just giving us a very rare opportunity.
Very rare.
Schedules. Like everything is kind of, if you see it this way, everything is working for you.
Absolutely.
This whole COVID nightmare, like all of the changes in the world, weather shifting, everything.
Everything.
Like it's working for you if you see it. If you see that life is working for you. And that God brought you here to make a difference.
Well, and to think also that you're not limited to just the one thing that you're currently doing right now financially in order to, provide for your family. I do not believe that you are limited to that one thing. And I know that's a lot what your podcast talks about is, women deciding it's okay to explore other things. And so multiple streams of income, I feel like is so important for women to pursue. And I know that can be a very daunting thing. It can be very scary. Like, oh my gosh, like I work 40 hours a week and how am I supposed to, do something else on the side? oh girl, you can absolutely do something on the side because there are
Right.
so many things that you're good at that you know you're good at.
Yeah.
But it's about taking that step of courage and obviously faith in order to just execute that.
And remembering that, you stack wins.
Yes.
Just as, when we're in
the
a
small
position,
wins.
when we're in a position where we're feeling like life is out of control and I got to take my life back.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it didn't just happen overnight,
Yep.
right? Like we allowed things in our lives to just kind of tumble, and then all of a sudden we're in a pit and we're like, ugh,
Right.
I'm going to take my life back.
Yes.
And we're rebuilding, right? So that happened, and those were losses that were stacked, but that doesn't mean that we can't stack the wins at the same
Oh,
time.
gosh, yeah.
Like we can turn around and say, okay, one day at a time,
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking back my life. One day at a time, I'm reaching for the dream that God put in my heart. One day at a time, I'm going to make a difference. One day at a time, I'm walking towards the best version of me,
Yes.
whatever that looks like. And like you had said, okay, well, what were some of the things that I loved as a little girl?
Yes.
Like, what were some of the things that didn't feel like work? I remember,
That's the thing.
sitting as a little girl, and I was 4 years old, and I was so upset at my preschool teacher because I was there to learn to read and write.
Yeah.
And we were learning like table manners, and I quit preschool.
Like this etiquette stuff is
Right.
boring.
I was like, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done with this. Like, I quit preschool. I did. I'm a preschool dropout.
I think this is the first time
Yeah.
I've ever heard that. I'm a preschool dropout.
I am a preschool dropout.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
and
awesome.
so like my family had told my mother, if you let her quit now, she's going to quit all the way through college. Folks, I didn't. And I'm thankful that I had a mother that, that let me be who I was.
Yes.
Because she knew that the joy in my heart was to write and to read. And I would carry around
Exactly.
my like little plastic bag of books and crayons. And
gosh.
I just remember like books of scribble. Like, I just want to write so bad. I want to write. And that was
Yes.
an absolute passion. And so remembering those things, like,
Yeah.
what brings us passion? What are some of the dreams in our hearts? Like, let's dream again. COVID has scattered everything, and it's been tough to come up with a routine and set up, plans for family and schedule and all of those different things. Even just our sports schedule
Oh, yeah.
is nuts.
I can
because
imagine.
game
You have
on,
4
game off.
boys. Yeah.
Like, we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
is the game?
Where are my boys? I lost them.
Right.
Are they in the room? I don't know.
Literally,
are
like
they?
cell phones have never been more
Oh,
important
my
because they tell
gosh.
me like, okay, well, what are we doing today? Where do I have to go? Like, I literally have to be at
It's a lot.
number of places, but they have to tell me on the day of because a location may have been shut down due to
Yeah.
like COVID, like cleaning.
Right.
A coach may have, been canceling a game. So it's just all up in the air, and
Yeah.
it's really knowing who you are.
Yes.
It's never been more important for us to know our design.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
And then, the mission and the goal of this podcast is really to make, the conversation around money something that we
Yeah.
do on the Saturday brunch with the girls, right?
Yeah.
Like, why do you think that we're not having money conversations? And I will say this, money is more important than anyone's talking about.
Oh, yeah.
It gives you freedom. It is the wind beneath
Yeah.
your wings when it comes to your purpose and your vision on the earth.
Yes.
Like, it helps you create protection.
Yeah.
For your children.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you, so much. Like, why are we not making money more important?
I think that eventually, I think we'll understand later on, because I feel like a lot of the times this whole concept of it's just weird to talk about money. It's weird for girls to talk about that. It's weird for, I think it's
Or
just
like, you're
stemming
too
from
aggressive,
I
or
think
like,
it's just stemming from this traditional mindset of the man needs to make the money, the woman needs to, yeah, sure, maybe she can have a job, or she can stay home and she can cook and she can clean and she can watch the kids. I think that kind of stigma still kind of is stemming back from just, generations past. And so that might be a little bit of the hesitation as to why maybe we don't talk about it the way that we should. But I truly believe, and I learned this in the network marketing company that I work with, is money in the hands of good people can do really good things. And
That's
so
very
when
true.
you know who you are, when I know that if I were to pursue things financially and bring money to the table and to help my family in this aspect, and especially if you have a good head on your shoulders, don't you want to be the person to make that kind of difference? If you have this dream and this desire of, helping underprivileged children, or starting a nonprofit, or doing this, doing that, and if you know that that is your heart's desire and you're not just some, person that'll be thrown in jail tomorrow, then I say, absolutely go for it, because it is out there for the taking, but it's literally just up to us.
Right.
You know?
Somebody's going to do it.
Somebody's going to do it.
It might as well be.
Yeah.
you.
Have you ever like watched like Shark Tank and they come up with these like brilliant inventions? You're like, why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I think of that?
Right.
And so that's pretty much how it's going to be is, you either figure it out yourself or somebody else probably is.
That's very true. So what have you been doing during this like wild COVID season? Like how are you adjusting, adapting to like what does that look like for you? Because like we said, everything's up in the air. We don't really know what tomorrow looks like, but isn't that the truth about any portion of life? Like take any timeline, any person's timeline.
Yep.
They didn't ever know what life was going to throw at them.
No.
And yet we're making a really big deal out of this COVID thing.
Yeah.
Instead of taking ownership, taking back our space. Like, this is my business. I can thrive in season and out of season and in good times and in pandemics. Like, I am smart. I am capable. I can do this.
Yes.
Right? Like, so what are you doing in your business?
I feel like the word in my mind that kind of like surrounds this entire situation is I'm choosing to see this entire situation and focus on the word freedom. I don't care who is telling me that I cannot do something. I don't care that, everything is shutting down. I am going to walk in freedom. I'm going to live in freedom. I'm going to adjust. And so I feel like I have taken that word of freedom and tried to apply it in aspects such as work. So guess what? You pivot, you adjust. That's what you do.
That's the word right there, Hannah.
Pivoting and adjusting.
Pivot, girl.
Yes, you have to pivot.
That's how you score points on the basketball court.
Absolutely.
I am on many basketball courts. I see a lot of pivoting.
Did you play basketball?
I did.
You did?
I did
How
in
fun.
8th grade.
I did too. Yeah, that was a blast.
How fun. But pivoting.
Yes.
So what does that look like? Okay, so for so many women right now, we're the ones forced to pivot, right?
Yeah.
We're the ones that have to go home and take care of the kids, or, when mom and dad, and the reality is 50% of households don't even have, a 2-parent household anymore.
Right.
So that's been so different. When a kid is sick at school, who gets
Yes.
called first?
Mom has to.
That's right.
Of course.
How do you pivot? How do you, in your mind, because it starts in your mind first before we ever see the physical form of pivoting. The pivot happens here first.
Yes.
Where do you take me through that?
Yeah. Well, I think that the blessing of pursuing multiple streams of income, and then also the blessing of COVID and all the things that have happened within this country, is learning that there is a huge beauty of working from home. And I know that lots of people have brick and mortar jobs. Lots of people have jobs that, working from home isn't necessarily possible. But going back to this multiple streams of income, I feel like it's very, very important for every woman and every man, but really specifically every woman, to find something that they can totally do, where they're very good at it, but it's something that you can do from home, and where you do have that freedom to pursue that at home, whether that's something online, whether that's starting your own Etsy shop, whether that's creating something after you get off of work.
I mean, the opportunities are limitless now.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And I think that a lot of people have been forced to pivot and forced to figure out how they can do the job that they love to do and work from home. And I think that it's been a blessing in disguise, because I feel like, if anything, a lot of the people that I follow, a lot of people that I see that are very successful, that's what they have done. And so modeling after that and realizing, okay, what can I do from home that will bring some sort of lucrativeness to my life? I think that's huge.
Because the truth is that everybody is gifted.
Yes.
People can be watching or hearing us today and think, well, Erica, I haven't been in real estate or business, or I don't have the connections you have, or whatever. The truth is that every person is designed with a unique grain.
Yes.
Right? Like a beautiful thumbprint. Just like all of us have a very different thumbprint.
Yeah.
But really it's the story of just our design and how unique each person is. And if we spend time cultivating the love for ourselves, the love and the understanding of who our creator made us to be, and how we're going to show up in the world, it's all going to work out. And I hope that whoever's listening today really truly feels that hope.
Yes.
I love that, you've spoken about, it's one of the principles that I do all the time, which is the law of modeling, right? I don't try to recreate anything. I find somebody who's living the life that I want to live, and then I model it.
Well, and I think that that's where people get stuck a lot, is they're like, I don't even know where to start. find someone who started already.
Heck,
And
these
literally,
podcasts
yes,
will give you a freaking like start to finish
exactly
access.
Yes.
You get access,
Yeah.
conversations
Yeah.
with people that you never would have been able to have access to before.
Yes.
And just Google that person.
Yeah, and then put your own spin on it. Because that's the beauty of really any business that you do, really anything that you're involved in, is model after the people who have been successful and then add your own twist, because there's something so cool and unique and beautiful about you. I love what you said earlier, because some people are, they'll sit back and just say, well, I'm not like her. I'm not like this person. I follow this girl and it's very intimidating. How do I? But there is nobody more fitting to pursue the things that God placed on your heart than you. There is no one more fitting.
If it's not you,
yeah,
who's going to do it?
Exactly. And I think that can get lost in translation a lot with comparison, with fear, with, feeling like you might be rejected or whatever it may be. But there's no one more fitting to do what you want to do than you.
And with the feeling, and I don't know why this, I think maybe it's just the way that I'm built, like the timing. Like I always feel like, oh, I missed my time.
I missed my time.
It's too late. I'm 38. I'm 38 and it's too late. That rhymes.
You look really cute, by the way, for being 38. Right? You look really cute.
Right? Thank you. Thank you so much, Hannah.
You're so welcome.
She's flagging me over here like, I'm trying to see what you're saying. Yeah.
Oh,
it should go on a t-shirt.
That's a good idea.
That's right. I'm 38 and it still ain't too late.
Ain't too late,
and
girl.
it ain't too late, boo. That's right. Oh my gosh. Yes. Please put that on a t-shirt, Mariah. Thank you. We're launching it with that t-shirt. I'm 38 and it ain't
And then
too
as you
late.
get older, I'm 39 and I'm still going to be fine.
That's
and then
right,
you just keep
baby.
going on and on and
That's
on.
how we do.
Every year.
Every year. Because here's the thing, like time is, it just is not part of the equation of success.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's the purpose. It's the design.
Yes.
If my nose was designed to smell and my ears were designed to hear, it doesn't matter how many years they've been on my face.
Oh, yeah, no.
Like the purpose and the design stays the same.
Yeah.
It is going to do what it was meant to do if we'll just let it.
Yep.
Right? Don't plug it up with all this crazy crap of comparison and other people and I have to do all of this before. So just start today. What can you do today to start on that dream and that vision?
And the little steps is what are encouraging. Whenever you don't, here's the thing. It's wonderful to have massive, massive goals. But whenever you start with, okay, what is a little goal that I can accomplish first? That's where your hope starts to build on itself. That's where your confidence starts to build on itself.
Yes.
So really starting with little goals. So for example, my cousin called me last week and she said, I have this dream to build this big summer camp for kids who are orphans in college in high school. And so I was like, that's amazing. They just bought a bunch of land. And so they want to do that one day. And I said,
please introduce us.
Well, I know, right? Isn't it great?
This.
I love it so much. And so she's got this wonderful dream. And so I said, while all that, and so she's moving to a new place too. So she doesn't really know a ton of the people around her area. I said, so what you need to do then is start small by getting involved in the community, the foster community or orphanages or whatever it may be, and really putting yourself out there to where your face is seen. Establish credibility in that aspect first, and then going from there, say, you know what, I want this little goal of maybe offering to pay for lunch for a week for these kids at the specific, home or orphanage or whatever it is. And having people donate to that. So, starting a nonprofit or starting any sort of business, you have to start small somewhere. So whenever you compound those wins and those goals that you accomplish over and over, that's whenever the big picture doesn't seem so intimidating.
That's gold, girl.
It is.
That's gold.
Yeah. So you got to start small too.
You have to be willing and then realize that the years are going to go by.
Yeah.
And you're going to stack those wins.
Yes.
And 5 years down the road.
And it might be really hard. Yeah. It's not fun to do the dirty work. It's not fun to start, super small and then to go. And so, I know from experience, like I was telling you earlier, how I was a news reporter and I started doing that pretty much right after I got out of college. And where I started working in news was in a very small station. And so it was very easy to kind of like move up into the ranks. So I went from reporter to very quickly starting helping out with the anchoring for the morning show.
Wow.
So that was great for me. But I think it also really got to my head at the point to where after I met my husband and we got married, I had to move up here to Dallas Fort Worth. So I'm here thinking I should be able to do this. I should be able to just be an anchor and that's it. Well,
where's my studio?
Where's my studio? But every single time I would apply for a job and they would all offer me the little positions, because here we are in this massive market, very competitive. And they're like, well, you can be a writer or an intern or something like that. It was the biggest blow to my ego. And I wasn't willing to take the smaller jobs. I wasn't willing to start over and to get back in the trenches and to get back in the dirt and to start working my way up again. And because of that, that was ultimately the end of my journalism career. So when I look back on that and I realize, okay, that's why that ended. And that's why that stopped, because I wasn't willing to do the hard stuff, to do the hard work. And then obviously when I learned from that, then I made different decisions moving forward. But I think that that's also huge for women to really understand is, yes, you had this big dream. Yes, you had this big goal. And even if you've gotten there before and maybe you've slid back a little bit, it's time to get back in the trenches again and not to be afraid of it either. Because that can be really scary too.
Yeah, pick up your dukes.
Yeah.
Pick up your dukes, girl.
Even if they be Daisy Dukes. Whatever
That's right. Daisy Dukes.
You just got to do it.
That's exactly it. Well, and it's really interesting that, you made the pivot and you're rebuilding it in a way that brings you so much more freedom, right? Because as a news anchor, there are limitations to your time and energy.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure being a mom and being a news anchor, that would have looked differently today.
Totally different.
So what you've built today is absolutely amazing. Like, what are some of the surprises that came with the success that you're seeing today?
I think the biggest surprise is definitely seeing the fruits of your labor in the hard stuff and in the grueling stuff and in the dirty work that you had to do. And I say dirty work, I don't mean shady. I mean like, getting in the trenches and working really, really hard. But I think that
and also I think when we're talking about like bringing that down to what that looks like, it's wearing multiple hats. Like you're the marketing person, you're the financial person, you're the accountant, you're the HR, you're the, like, sometimes we start by wearing all the hats.
Yeah. And I think that with that's
another shirt.
All the hat wearer. All the hats.
Like, I wear all the hats.
Hi, America, I wear all the hats.
I wear all the hats.
No,
too.
yeah. No,
but
totally.
I'm 38 and it's not too late. Right. 38 hats. That's cute.
That would be adorable. No, yeah. I mean, I feel like the thing that probably surprised me the most is seeing, like, when I was like, I am not too good to do the hard things. I am not,
this face isn't too pretty.
I am not at the place in my life where I need to humble myself and I need to work really, really hard. And I think that with that consistency, which is very important, with that consistency, doors started opening. And I'm like, wow, okay, so this is really cool. So I think that was probably one of the things that did surprise me the most, is no matter how long it took me or no matter how short it might take you, seeing how consistency can be the reward for whatever you're doing, really.
You know what? That's the magic.
Yeah.
Is the consistency on a daily basis to just show up.
Yes.
Even if it's if it's in a little way, like you're showing up every single day.
Yeah.
So like take us through how you show up in your day. Like, how do you plan for your day? How do you structure? Do you plan for a week at a time, a month like, how do you plan your day? Because you've got a lot going on.
Well, yeah, and with 2 kids, it's definitely complicated sometimes. But the beauty of working from home is I do get to do a lot of the stuff at home. So there is a lot of freedom there. But I know that we do have a little calendar on our fridge. So that is huge for me. I have to be able to see what is going on throughout the week on my calendar between the kids stuff, the husband stuff, my stuff. So when it comes to maybe social media stuff, for example, if I'm feeling good that day, if I'm feeling like, okay, I have my makeup on, I've got my hair done, I will batch create a lot of the video content in one day. I might change shirts and just do something, make it look different, but I will really batch record a lot of my videos, a lot of the video content that I have to create. And then after I do that, I'll maybe sit down and look at emails and see if there's any other brands that I can collaborate with, if there's anything in my network marketing business that maybe has fallen through the cracks, I need to reach out to some people. So, and all of that, which I'm so grateful school started back up, because I feel like I can get a lot of that done while the kids are at school.
Yeah.
And so that's really where I get a lot of my time of getting stuff done, is during that period of time.
Yeah.
Really.
So for somebody who wants to get into the business that you are, what are some tips that you can suggest?
Yes.
Like, how do they start? So
Yeah.
first of all, how long ago did you start your platform?
Yes.
How
So,
long have you?
man, I started the network marketing business that I have been working for now 8 years alongside my family. That has been 8 years, but I didn't really start with a social media platform until a few years after that. And I didn't have any sort of following. I didn't really have anything, but I just decided, you know what? These are things that I'm good at. I love social media. I love video content. I love all that. So how can I incorporate my current job with the things that I do love? And so that's where the multiple streams of income started opening up. So not only did I have my network marketing business and was working on that aspect, but I introduced social media and started applying the things that I'm learning here over here too. And so that's kind of really where it started. And it's just been great. It's been just super fun. So the actual following started growing on social media. And then obviously the things started evolving as far as what my account is about. So originally it was just about health products and, living a healthier lifestyle and using natural remedies for, different things. So that was the main focus. And then I decided, you know what? I love these other things too. I love humor. I love, Christian humor. I love, talking about family and marriage. And so it kind of just morphed and evolved into this different thing on my social media account. So yeah, that's pretty.
Which is really cool,
much
because
what's
actually
happened.
we have another guest that's scheduled out for the next couple of weeks, and she owns a really amazing green clean maid
cool.
service. It's a national company.
That's awesome.
And she actually follows you.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute.
Wait just a second.
Yeah, I was like, she's in Miami. How did this happen?
Oh, really? How fun.
Yeah, so I mean, you're expanding your reach, and that is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, what an amazing story. So what are some of the big goals that you're reaching for? Like, how can we as a sisterhood support you moving forward?
I think that the path that I've been on currently has been very fulfilling and very exciting. And so I think I want to just keep pursuing that aspect of it. Continue to growing the social media account, continue to, bless women all around the world, through humor, through
Make them laugh.
Yeah, make them laugh through humor and through, marriage stuff or kid stuff, and just realizing, one, you're not alone. Two, don't take yourself so seriously. I feel like that can be a huge block to some people and to some women, is they feel like they've got to be perfect, or they feel like they got to look a certain way or be a certain way in order to be what they want to be. But no, don't take yourself so seriously, girlfriend. Sometimes you are gonna fall. You're gonna have to get back up. You might as well laugh at yourself throughout the whole thing.
It's gonna be a mess.
Oh gosh,
that's what I say. Like, you know what? It's gonna be a beautiful mess.
Yes.
Just make it happen.
Yes.
Just go roll it out, and
yeah.
this is real life.
Yeah, it is.
This is real life. Nobody's gonna live it for you.
Exactly.
You've got to jump in the game.
Yeah, I love that.
So, well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We ask our guests 3 things that you want to leave on the earth, that you want to be remembered for.
Me?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well,
and it's cool because, I'm creating all this content. Yes, I love my sisterhood, and I want to help women become financially independent and get their focus back and build financial freedom and all of those things.
Yeah.
And at this end of the day, the reality is this may be something that I leave for my kids, right? Like, this is all that I may leave for my kids. Even if nobody listens to it, if nobody participates, like if this is a complete fail, guess what? This is like the wisdom and the knowledge that I'm leaving for my kids.
Yeah.
And that is such a powerful thing to me, right? It's just like the content that you've created will inspire and make your kids laugh.
Yes.
Your grandkids
So
laugh.
funny.
Your grandkids. It's hilarious.
My kids are
and
never
it's
growing
fun.
up. I don't know about your kids. My kids are never growing up. They're never going to be teenagers. It's just not
Ever.
going to happen.
Ever. Yes. We'll be in prayer for you about that,
We'll pray for you,
sister. Yeah. So,
gosh.
3 things. Like, what do you want to be? What do you want to leave behind? What do you want to remember, like, when it's all said and done? And you say bye.
Yeah. I think definitely one of the first things is to be remembered as a woman who not only loved the Lord and not only served the Lord, but that loved her husband and loved her children and loved her family, but also loved her friends. And I think that that's huge, is having a community of people around you where you're not only making a difference, yes, in your workplace or, in the things that you want to do career-wise or whatever it is, but with your family and your friends. I mean, relationships are huge. Relationships are important, and relationships are the foundation of being successful in anything, as far as networking goes, as far as your career.
It's the truth.
That's definitely the number one thing, is to be remembered how I loved the people that I love. Maybe the second thing, that she did make a difference. And
you made a difference in my life, so
thanks.
You're already doing a really great job, girl.
Thank you.
You are.
Meeting you has been a huge blessing, and so I do. I feel like, as whenever I become old and gray, and whenever I go to heaven, I want to be able to fulfill what my mom always spoke over me, which is that she made a difference. She didn't just sit. She didn't just, exist. She made a difference in everything that she touched. I want to be remembered that way. And maybe that I'm funny. maybe you can remember me as being somebody that's a little bit lighthearted and joyful and, not rude.
Who chose joy not as a necklace, but like as a lifestyle.
As an actual lifestyle. She's laughing at me. I just don't want to be remembered as rude. She starts laughing.
Yeah, that's so funny. It is medicine, like joy and laughter is medicine.
It is.
And so how can everybody follow you? Like, how can everybody get a little taste of medicine and add you in their day?
Thanks. Well, right now my handle is called Healthier Hannah Blog on Instagram. I pretty much cross-post everything on TikTok, so you can also follow me there. I have Facebook, but I'm not as active on Facebook. I don't know. I feel like Instagram, you message me and I will get it immediately. So you can follow me there. My handle might change here in a few months. I'm currently under a contract where my handle needs to stay, at least my Instagram needs to stay the same for just a while longer. So I might change it here in the few months to come. So if you cannot follow me at Healthier Hannah Blog, or if you can't find me there, just type in my name, Hannah Cruz, and I would love to connect with you.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
It is so much fun, and we'll feature all of your handles
Thank you.
within this podcast and video, and
awesome.
And make sure that everybody can find you as well. But thank you so much for willing to start this journey with me.
Yes,
and
I'm very proud of you too.
Thank you.
I want to honor you in that, because this is some of the things that women think about wanting to do. But it's a matter of just saying, I'm going to do it. And I know I'm good enough to do it. And so you embody that. So I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, girl. I love that. Well, I can't wait to have you on again as we break down. Because you just said something that really interested me.
What?
It was a right brain thing.
What was it?
You're under contract to do something. Like, I want to see that contract. What is this contract about? Like, what? Right? Like, I just want to deep dive into all of that. But that's for next session.
It. Yes.
Girl, you're a blessing.
Thank you.
Keep making the world a better place.
Thank you.
And we're leaving today knowing that anything is possible.
Yeah.
Like, if we're just willing to start,
yes,
take it.
I love that.
So, all right, girl. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. We'll talk to you soon.